Hi guys, this is Jean Holden, producer of the show, and I just wanted to take a minute to let you know where you can find us on the internet. Please go to ThatMan on Fatman.com. There you can find out all the things you need to know about the show. You'll be able to find links to the podcast, to YouTube, to Twitter, Facebook, even Instagram and Snapchat. Thank you so much for listening, guys, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Today's show is brought to you by Death Wish Coffee. Death Wish Coffee, the strongest coffee in the world.
This is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, and I want to urge you to make a generous donation to the Wayne Foundation so we can stop the sexual trafficking of children. Do it, or I'll find you.
And don't forget to check out our good friend of the show, Mark Live, over at chundertunes.com for all your podcast animation needs. ThatMan on Fatman is recorded with a Zoom H6 handy recorder. Zoom. For creators.
Disclaimer. The show you're about to experience is for entertainment purposes only. The hosts use mature language and conversation just like in most of life. If you're too uptight, this might not be for you. All that said, we really do hope you enjoy the show. But if you don't enjoy it, expect a nice big shipment of my joyous Joker juice on your doorstep in the very near future. Toodles!
As the world's biggest Kevin Smith fan, I appreciate the fact that somebody finally made a podcast about that interesting motherfucker. So yes, you absolutely did the right thing. If I mean, you know, I know it's kind of gross for me to be like, yes, doing a Kevin Smith podcast was fucking smart. Yeah. But I do feel like it was smart. I appreciate it. I think you were right to do that.
Okay. What has two thumbs and is a huge fan of Kevin Smith? ThatMan!
What are we going to do about the Pancake Master?
We need a costumed vigilante is what we need. Justice can't be served unless it's being fought outside the system.
Here's what we're going to do, eh?
Oh, shit. It's ThatMan. Who is he? He's ThatMan. He's talking. What should we do?
Oh, there he goes by in the Thatmobile.
The what? Thatmobile, his car. Go get him, ThatMan.
Yes, I am ThatMan.
Well, once upon a time, a regular man read a book written by the Fat Man. Tough shit, written by old Kev Smith. Kev said go out and start a podcast, and so I did, and I had a real blast. But my obsession was driving my co-host nuts. Didn't want to bring the podcast down. Needed Porkchop Murphy to hang around. So I created a new show with one heck of a plan, and I'd call that show ThatMan on Fatman, because we're going to chat about Kevin Smith. That's right, let's talk about old Kev Smith. Hey everybody, and welcome to this episode 3-12 of ThatMan on Fatman. My name is Scott Holden, and sitting here in That Cave with me this evening is none other than co-host and producer extraordinaire Jean Holden.
Hi, guys.
And it is wonderful to be back.
It is.
Again.
Mm-hmm.
Last week's show we recorded actually very early in the week, and then it dropped later in the week. This week, I just recorded the interview yesterday. As I sit and record this, we record this on Saturday evening. This will probably drop Monday or Tuesday. I had the great and wonderful opportunity to sit down and talk with Robert Kurtzman. Yeah. He's a special effects wizard, a director, a producer. He's just
a writer.
If you IMDB this gentleman, the list is as long as your arm.
Wow.
Chances are at least one of your favorite movies is on it, and he's worked on it. I say this during the interview, but it comes out a little weird, but it's one of the movies that when I'm in a bad mood, I will put on, and it never fails to cheer me up in some respects, and that's Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
And also we actually just watched Dusk Till Dawn again before sitting down and recording this. So he was big in the story of that, and originally was directing, but then it became harder to get it. Well, you'll hear the story.
Yeah.
So, and of course, now he has a direct connection to the man himself, the namesake of the show, Kevin Smith.
He does.
Because he did the effects for Tusk and Yoga Hosers, and by effects, the rubber effects, because we know that Mr. McElfresh did some of the digital effects. So that you'll look forward to that interview later in the show.
Very cool. Yes.
Also, big Kevin week. We got finally his episode of The Flash debuted, and it was excellent. And I cried. I teared up.
I know.
You teared up too. I know you did.
Yeah. Even Ralph Garman tweeted out. He was like, "Kevin, I teared up just like Kevin Smith."
Yeah.
While watching this.
Yeah. Just
Kevin.
don't podcast while you cry,
I
because
know.
someone may say something to you. Anyway,
This is
only Kevin can do that. Yeah, the other thing that I loved,
because he's popular.
I loved about the episode was the way they used Cisco or Vibe and Wells as like almost a comedic duo. There were some moments I loved. They were like firing on the same pistons, and they were really like a weird sort of comic book version of, Abbott and Costello,
like
or
a team.
a comic duo. It was very good. I get a real kick out of
That was
them
cool.
being used that way, because there's also a smartness to it.
Right.
It's not just, they're a comic duo. There's a little more to it than that.
Right.
It feels more right than that. You know what I mean?
Well, Kevin does that though with
characters.
Like he digs a little deeper.
And he talked about before we knew anything about the episode, but on the show, he talked about how he couldn't wait to have a scene that he directed that was like, the exposition of, surely he's blah, 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 science, techno jargon, babble. And he got a big one, and it was Wells doing it. So I was like, oh, wow, Kevin must have been so happy. Because he's explaining exactly how Barry is going to blow up or come back or whatever the heck it was.
He did a great job.
Yeah,
Bravo,
really did.
Kevin.
Yes, it was awesome.
Yeah. And there's there's people out there that want Kevin to direct the Flash movie.
Yeah, there's talk that Kevin should direct the Flash movie.
Kevin
is already, there's also talk about Kevin finally writing some Arrow scripts.
Oh my God, wouldn't that be great?
Now,
it makes sense.
Duh. Now, there was some, from listening to old SModcasts and knowing a lot of the history, I couldn't cite you what episodes they were. But there was a point where Kevin talked about some of the reason that he wasn't really that into Green Arrow was because early on, when it was getting as developed or something, someone was asked, and I believe it was someone who had some bad blood. I don't know who it was, but they asked if Kevin Smith would be involved because it was Green Arrow, and because this person knew that, Kevin Smith, Green Arrow, Kevin Smith rebooted Green Arrow at one point in 2001. And the guy dismissed it out of hand. Like in a way that was sort of harsh, no, why would we do that? Kind of like not understanding that Kevin has a Green Arrow. I think that finally that I'm not sure if that person is still in that organization, but Kevin's getting tighter with the Flash folks would make that much more a viable thing, I think. So.
Cool.
Yeah, it could be very cool. So who knows? He could be going into that Arrow universe. We could see a mini version of some sort of version of Quiver.
Nice.
Although we would need a dead Arrow first. Because Kevin brought him back from the dead. Yeah, you'd have to kill your boyfriend, Stephen Amell.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
What a waste.
Congratulations, Kevin. Your episode of The Flash was fucking awesome.
Right.
Fired on all pistons.
And also congratulations on Comic Book Men Season 6.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Is approved and ready to go.
Hats off to the Comic Book Men for that.
Very, very, very cool. So, awesome. The boys will be back.
We wish them nothing but the best.
Nothing but the best in Red Bank.
There was something else. Well, I remember what it was, but we'll talk about it after the Smed lines.
Okay.
And here's the Smed lines. Sorry we missed him last week, but Ben was a busy man.
He's a busy little bee, that Ben.
So, but he's back. Here he is. Smed lines. We should figure out how to get the cat to say this.
Smed lines.
She always me at
The
Smed lines. Smed lines.
Hello, this is Ben from the blog Indie Mac User with the Smed Lines roundup for the 15th of May 2016. And the trailer for the new Kevin Smith film Yoga Hosers was leaked online last week, so if you can find that online. Also, it was announced by AMC that they are renewing Kevin Smith's TV show Comic Book Men for its 6th season, so we can look forward to that soon. Also last week, the episode of The Flash directed by Kevin was aired on the CW network and has received a generally positive response. That's the Smed lines for this week.
Oh my God, the Smed lines gets all upset. That's supposed to make you react like that. That's supposed to...
What was that? Was Miss Cup like...
Really
did you give her some coffee or something?
She had a really bad reaction or something.
That was very strange. I've never seen her act quite like that. She was screaming and stuff. She was,
I think she's on her period.
Her hair was... She was like a big fuzzball with a tail.
That was scary.
Yeah.
I've never seen her.
Never play her the Smed lines.
I don't know what it was this week, but she's never acted that way.
It's all those bumps of cocaine.
I know.
Never give your cat crystal meth. There you go.
No.
Anyway, moving on from the Smed lines. The thing I wanted to... We went and filmed with Damien.
Yes, we did.
Went to Brooklyn.
Damn Cool Productions.
Not too far, actually, from Dan McCoy and the Flophouse, where we filmed those guys, and where they record. But we went down to Brooklyn, to the cool area.
Yes, we did.
Cool town. And we went and recorded with Lady Parts Justice.
It was so cool.
Now, the group is called Lady Parts Justice, but it's
right.
led by Liz Winstead, who's sort of a legendary comedian. She is one of the founders, credited as one of the founders of The Daily Show. She was big with Air America and with hiring a lot of the talent out of there. And she will be on the show really soon.
Yes.
So we don't want to talk about it too much. We don't want to, go into too much. But it was a really great.
It was awesome. I was so
session.
Yes.
And it got cut short. She had she had to do other stuff.
But I think it was nice.
Yeah.
Like how, they were very warm and very inviting. And
yeah. I like their office. They had
awesome
this really cool
environment.
Spiral staircase, which we ended up shooting her on.
Yeah,
it's
a very
cool. New York
independent, working environment.
Yes.
It's very friendly, very open. It's very
a lot
nice.
of women.
A lot of women.
We were me and Damien were the only
awesome.
dudes there.
It was really cool. I loved it.
Yeah, I
love
it too.
her.
Yeah. Me too. I have
She's
a lot of respect for her. She's really
very, very
cool.
inspiring.
She does not wear it on her sleeve. She wears it like armor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And wears it for the women that may be afraid to.
Yeah.
She
Good for
wears
her.
it for all of us.
As she should.
To give, and gives us the strength to do it on our own. So, ladies, there's other ladies out there working for us that you would not believe what these women are doing. So, if you can check out Lady Parts Justice, the podcast is Repro Madness, and it's awesome. And you'll hear all about all the things you need to know that you wouldn't normally hear in regular media about abortion and Planned Parenthood and all that stuff. So
I'm sorry. Did someone say abortion?
Yeah. Why are you into that, Bane?
Me?
Are you into abortions?
It's so wonderful to be here tonight. How are you doing this evening, Miss Jean?
I'm good. I miss you.
I just flew in from London, and boy, are my arms missing.
They're missing.
Yes,
Goodness.
yes.
Where did they go?
Actually, I used that joke last time. Sorry about that. I need to get some new tags. I forgot I was here last time. I used that joke. See, sometimes when you go and you be on a show too frequently, you use the same material.
Right.
And then my sweeties get a little less sweet.
You don't want to reuse them.
No. I can't drop my Bane Bon Mott unless I do that. You know.
Yeah.
I said Bane Bon Mott. Just wake up over there, you dipshit. I'll kill you.
Oh, hey. That's a little abrasive. Chill out.
Do you think you have power over me?
Well, I think you need to chill. This is like a chill area.
Tell me, do you feel in control?
Absolutely.
Or perhaps he's wondering why someone would shoot a man before throwing him out of a plane.
I like Bane, but
I do, too.
Don't want to overuse him.
Yeah. He gets negative really quick.
Yeah, he can go dark.
He does get very
Well,
dark.
he is a villain.
I know. I try to
Be tolerant.
like, forget that when I
Be
talk
tolerant
to him.
of people in the LGBT community.
I'm trying, like I do. I try to forget all that about him when I talk to him. I try to be very compassionate.
Yes, patience and tolerance.
I do.
So remember, whenever you engage with someone and you end up rolling around in the mud, you're the only one who gets dirty. So, which is very true.
And another great way to live, guys,
it was like a snoochie boochies.
is like live and let live. It's another great way to live.
Well, you sound
life.
very preachy.
No, it's just
Why are you trying to preach at me?
I'm not preaching.
What are you trying to
I'm not
say?
being preachy.
What are you trying to say? You're trying to preach at me. Oh, my God. How dare you say that? You're only saying that because you know that you don't want me to live and let live.
No, I said guys. I wasn't.
You said guys? Well, what about us women?
People.
What's wrong? Oh, people. What about the dogs and the cats? What are you trying to say? See, that's how the internet works. It doesn't matter. Anything you say, you're wrong.
I know.
So it's pointless. All right. Now let's talk about positive and awesome stuff. So we're going to move on now to the interview portion of the show. And as I've said earlier, my producer extraordinaire somehow managed to land Robert Kurtzman for the show, using her mojo and magic powers that seem to be growing leaps and bounds since the year or two we've been on.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, and now, I mean, how far away can we be from your pen pal and boyfriend, David Klein?
I know. He's in
Where's David?
I stalk him.
Where's that? Yeah. No, but you don't have to. He tells you. He's like, I'm in Spain right now. Mr. Klein.
He's always
what's
on the
ironic about this is you were one of the first persons to reach out and be very supportive to us.
You were very supportive,
and like, I constantly hear the updates after you and Gene connect, which now seems to be like every 6 months.
Yeah, it seems to be that, and he's always responds. I mean, not right away, but in a in his
I know.
fashion.
I
but
see
he's
updates.
busy, and he always says
I have no idea how much I would love to have.
He always says a kind word.
He's amazing.
He always is very supportive, and he's
the way that man grew as a
it's
cinematographer,
so inspirational.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, now the next guy again, career as long as my arm. You know, because of the show, I felt. And because of the longevity of his career, I was like, I need to jump to the end.
Right.
I need to get to the part that we really need to sink our teeth into and what makes it, Kev content, if you will. So I sort of jump right into Tusk and that involvement.
Well, because it's so easy to get lost in a conversation with him because he's so interesting.
And I was thinking, if I went back and look at the Kevin interview, there's a point where I say, oh, we'll get to Tusk. And then we just never do. We never really get to it. So I was like, well, I'm leading with Tusk on this guy. So that was my sort of approach.
Right.
And and I really do believe.
And it's one of the more like fresher ones for him,
Hang on.
I would think.
A lot of people will point to Red State as Kevin's, Passafortu, whatever you want to call it,
right.
his where he became a different filmmaker. I totally disagree. Everybody there. It's Tusk. It's Tusk. It's sort of like, I would give this analogy. Kevin went into the cocoon on Red State.
Right.
He came out of the cocoon on Tusk.
Right.
And when he came out of the cocoon, he didn't care that, that some people thought it sucked. Some people loved it. He loved it. He knew what it was. It was a love letter to him and Scott and to SModcast and what he's been doing, what he had been doing for like
Canada.
the last, Canada, and what they've been sort of built. That's what they had been building for the last couple years while he was, not really making movies and doing another life.
And it's interesting.
And when he came out of that, he came out. That is where the new Kevin really was born.
A lot of people, though,
he's no longer afraid of failure.
Right.
People said, "Oh, let's go on. Let's do Clerks 2. Let's do Mallrats 2." Now, those things have had their stumbling blocks as to why they're not started, but it didn't matter anyway because Kevin's like, "I'm going with the shit I want to make. I'm going with this stuff. I'm chasing whimsy." So
I wonder if that's because I know that a lot of people, if you ask them, what was your last favorite Kevin Smith movie, and they'll say Red State. And I think because maybe it was, I don't want to say
it is a great movie. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah, and I know, but
and when you look at it, it doesn't look like a Kevin Smith movie. But it is. The thing about that is it's an homage to Quentin Tarantino.
Right.
To all these other filmmakers.
But I think it's more mainstream than he's ever done.
Yes and no.
Yeah, more like
it's
like the topic.
I wouldn't say that it's
mainstream. The way it was done was
only
more...
in that it doesn't look like a Kevin Smith movie,
right? And that's the thing. And I think and then you think that maybe that's why people like it.
Well, no, I think they like it because it is an intense thing. It's
really intense.
Anyone who watches that movie, I think why people like it is whenever you think you know where that movie is going, it turns.
Right.
It becomes a different movie.
Right.
So you never really know where it's going, and he did that on purpose.
Right.
And that's a great trick, but it's a trick you can only do once, and he knows that. You can only make that movie once. You can only do that to people once.
Brilliantly done. Brilliantly done.
But the Walrus movie,
brilliantly done,
is it's all the same like skills. I'm gonna make it cheap. It's taking everything he's learned, not just about filmmaking, but about indie filmmaking, about true, making it on the cheap, making sure that financial people get paid back, doing it on your vision. Don't worry that it's a stupid Walrus movie, because ultimately, it's finding its own audience too. Millennials love it already.
Oh, I know.
And I'm sure if you love that and you're young and you're a millennial, you'll go like, what? There's a podcast about this? What? And then you find the episode and open up a whole new can of worms into your life.
And I'm like, damn, if he can make a movie about that, I can sure as I'll make a movie.
And then along comes Yoga Hosers out of it. And then finally Moose Jaws. At Moose Jaws, we'll see the return of Jay and Silent Bob to the screen.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
cool.
again, he's pulling all the tools out of his toolbox. And he's making art that he's unapologetic about. It doesn't matter if anyone likes it or doesn't like it. He really doesn't care anymore. He's just doing his thing. And that's why I believe it was Yoga Hosers. Not Yoga Hosers. It was Tusk that was far more important to film than Red State, no matter what anyone said. Oh, Red State's better. Red State is a beautiful stained glass window of art.
Right.
It's a wonderful film. But that was the beginning of Kevin's cocoon. Tusk is the end of it. Like, Tusk is where it comes out. That's my philosophy. And with that is where we enter Robert Kurtzman, who was the rubber man for the film that is Tusk. And so I will turn it over to this. I mean, it's not a very long interview. This guy's a powerful, Hollywood showbiz type, so we didn't want to take too long from him. It was about a half hour, and, I did some trimming, and we did have some Skype issues getting going. So it's about 25 minutes. One of our shorter shows or interviews. You know how long-winded I can be. Anyway, without any further ado, the legend, Robert Kurtzman. Very nice to meet you, sir.
Hey, Scott.
It's such an honor to get to speak to you.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. I don't know if anyone explained to you what the show's about, but essentially we sort of celebrate Kevin Smith and his universe. And while I know you've had a long and an amazing career, and there's like 100 touch points I'd want to hit on, if I don't start at the end, we'll never get there. So
okay.
Let's start with Tusk and Yoga Hosers and your sort of involvement. And if you can walk me through how you got involved in first Tusk, I know, and then Yoga Hosers.
Yeah, with how I got involved with Tusk was producer David Greathouse, who had done a series of films that I did effects on, and then I directed a couple films for him, Deadly Impact and Buried Alive. He was working for the company that was the financer on it, Demarest, and he told me about the show. They had a quick turnaround, and as soon as he brought up it was Kevin, I was excited. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'd love to do something with Kevin. And it was our first, time working together.
So you'd never worked together before?
No, it was the first time. So
now, did you reach out to Greg Nicotero first?
Yeah, I think Kevin told me he did reach out to K&B, but it didn't work out. So.
Yeah.
And then Dave suggested me, and it was just through that connection of the financiers, that I hooked up with Kevin through that. So.
And you've worked with Greg Nicotero before, and
I was partners with him.
Yeah.
Years. Yeah.
So he steps to you and says, "I got this weird sort of thing."
Yeah, he sent me the script, which is was one of the weirdest things I've ever read. It was kind of like reading Bubba Hotep for the first time.
Yeah. Did you know that it had been based on a podcast?
No, not initially. Then I found out, kind of the history of it, after the fact.
Yeah.
I mean, it says it on the script, but, I'd never heard the podcast.
Yeah.
And, he sent me the script and I read the breakdown, and then I kind of went, we had a couple of quick meetings about the look of the thing, and it was kind of nice because I hit it off with him pretty quickly as far as creatively and stuff, I think we grew up on the same films, and it kind of came up in the business with the same filmmakers like Quentin and Robert and Rodriguez and him, and that indie crowd that came up at that time. And
let me interrupt because you were right in there because of Dusk Till Dawn. I mean, let's face it.
Well, that and Reservoir Dogs and all the early stuff we were doing, especially with not just those filmmakers, but like other filmmakers, and some of them were having a second career. Like John Carpenter was on his second phase of making movies when we got involved. We grew up on his stuff.
You were involved in a movie that when I'm in a down mood, if I put that movie on, it never fails to disappoint me, and that's Army of Darkness.
Yeah, that's one of the all-time favorite experiences, one of mine. That and Evil Dead 2, of course, but and it was, working with Sam and Bruce and all those guys again, and it was like the little family back together again on that film, and and because of what was in the movie with all the skeletons and the dead and the horseback and
the Harryhausen thing.
Yeah, for us it was like we were big kids. We were like, oh, we get to blow up shit on a real castle set. So this is cool.
I grew up on all the. I mean, I'm the same age as Kevin, so I was born in 1970, so I have a lot of the same touchstones. So let's circle you back to Tusk. I'm sorry. So he tells you get this weird script, which you say like Bubba Hotep, which is an amazing movie as well.
Yeah, no, it's the same thing. When I read that, I was like, what the hell? But it's just so weird. I had to be involved. It's like.
How long did it take you to design the walrus?
Well, to be honest, we had. When we started, they gave us 5 weeks to build all this stuff, which was ridiculous for what we were doing. And so, I had to, once we started out with a couple sketches and then I did a 3D model, and then we went into the big version and we did it fairly quickly. But what was good is we kind of found a design fairly quickly that Kevin was really comfortable with,
What was the elevator pitch for it?
Oh, in reading the script, it's a patchwork of people's skins, and things that he's put together, and he modifies his body to fit inside of it. And so it became like a Texas Chainsaw thing, it's like Leatherface, Frankenstein, It's
like, you don't have to go too far.
Right, exactly.
I like somewhere down and I was one of the guys. I was one of the people who actually saw it on opening night in the theater. But I like there's like an ear somewhere down the middle and stuff.
Somebody's face stitched on, kind of like Hellraiser.
Yeah, very much. Or it also reminded me, what was that old movie where the guy had a twin that was hacked off a Basket Case?
Yeah, there's Basket Case. But then there's the Manster, which is the foreign black and white film where the eyeball starts, where they got that for Army of Darkness. The eyeball pops out of his shoulder.
Yeah.
he grows a second head.
Oh, that's yeah.
So
yeah, that was very dark. That was like the darker moment of that. Then it goes to, you know, My Fair Lady. Ha.
Yeah.
It's quite a, yeah, it goes from one extreme to the other. Like, oh my God, it's growing bigger. So you said 5 weeks to build the walrus. Did you have to do other things as well? I guess make it float.
We had the surgery stuff, you know, and his limbs off and stitching his armpits together. And then the suit, though, see, there's multiple suits. We had ones that he would lay down in that was full body. Then we had half ones that we could do certain close-ups with without having to put him in the whole suit. And then we had ones to go in the water, you know. So it was there were kind of 6 different suits for that.
Oh, yeah. And there was also the bigger walrus suit, if you will.
Well, then there's the Michael Parks suit.
Yes. When you saw the final thing cut together, the walrus fight, what was your reaction?
Thank God he trimmed it so short.
Did you find it funny or intense or?
No, I found it funny.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it's hard not to find it.
It was, first off, it was almost impossible to move those guys around in those suits.
Yeah.
They're literally just doing push-ups and bumping into each other.
And there's moments where they're kind of
funny on set to watch.
They're kind of garbage bagging a little bit, you know, like a little puffy air stuff is going on. It's just like, wow. But I love the movie. Don't get me wrong. I was in on the joke from the beginning. And to think that someone like, people would animate Kevin's bits and then it kind of became his thing. You know, he would Smodimations. But this was like the ultimate. This is taking a podcast episode and making a movie based on that is like the next extension. So he's way ahead of the puck. So tell me about Yoga Hosers and how that grew.
Well, that obviously came out of elements of Tusk, you know, and the cast of Tusk and the characters in Tusk. So they all slide over into Yoga Hosers. And that's another one. Kevin sent it to me, and I was like, what the fuck?
See, now this one I haven't seen yet. So I'm still, I mean, I've seen the trailer, I've seen, you know, that kind of stuff, but
he's touring with it this summer.
Yeah, I know.
And,
yeah.
So, no, it happened fairly quickly too. It's like he called and said, hey, we're doing this and we're going to start quick and this is what you got to do. So I get the script, and the only thing that we did creatively, like bantering back and forth, was come up with the origins of the Bratzies and you know, what they're made of and the design element being a sausage and all that, with Hitler DNA. It's like, so.
And those were originally supposed to be Jay, correct?
Yeah, Kevin's talked about this, you know, publicly. So, but yeah, Jay was supposed to do the part, and we built everything for him, and then went to shoot, and he's claustrophobic. And if we would have known that if we did a live cast, but we did a cyber scan of his head, which, you know, we didn't require covering him in anything at that time.
Yeah. But you went for a classic mold.
Yeah.
And he was claustrophobic.
Well, when we started putting him in the makeup was when we found out he was claustrophobic. So.
Not the best time.
No. And then so we ended up pushing the shoot a few weeks, and then I redid the makeup on Kevin, and Kevin decided to play the part. So
see, it's so interesting. It's the first time we met Kevin and had him on the show. We met him at the Stash, and it was right after he had done that. Mm-hmm. So he's clean shaven.
He had to shave. He hated that.
Yeah, and we even got like we have video of me talking to him, and yeah, it's that baby face Kevin.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was very funny. All right, we want to take a moment to talk about Death Wish Coffee. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, do yourself a favor and get over to deathwishcoffee.com. And there you can buy the strongest coffee known to man without a prescription.
The world's strongest coffee ever.
Yes, as proudly displayed on my wife's sweatshirt over there.
Yes, on my body, yes. On my mug,
yes,
on my K-cups.
Yes, and you'll know them by their telling sign of the skull and crossbones.
It's
that tells
so
you
good.
Exactly what you're in for. It's that used to be the international symbol for poison, but now it is the symbol for good damn coffee.
It's awesome. Without milk, with milk, you don't really need it because it's strong.
But
it's
not bitter?
Not bitter. So you don't even need milk. You don't even need sugar, but you can add it if you'd like. It's just really, really the perfect, strongest, most awesome coffee.
Become a junkie of Death Wish, just like the Anderson Council. And
we got him hooked.
Again, deathwishcoffee.com. Thank you very much.
Enjoy it.
I want to take this time to mention to you www.audibletrial.com/ThatMan on Fatman. That's right, www.audibletrial.com/ThatMan on Fatman. That's one word, conjunctified. Go there. Sign up for your free 30-day free trial. Sign up. Get a free book. A free audiobook, because you don't have to go through no tedious reading. You don't have to turn no fucking pages. You don't have to do any of that bullshit. You get in your car, you put on your headphones, and you are listening to a book. You're taking a magical journey into a fictitious land. You're expanding your mind, all when you're stuck in traffic. Fucking amazing. Audiobooks. These are the wave of the future. And you can get in for free for 30 days. A free trial. And when you get your free trial, you can download a copy of Tough Shit by our Savior, Kevin Smith. That's right. Our Lord and Savior, Kevin Smith, has left words for us to follow in our lives. And we can get it for free just by signing up to audibletrial.com/ThatMan on Fatman. That's right. audibletrial.com/ThatMan on Fatman. Thank you. Please sign up. You'll be very happy you did. It's that baby face Kevin.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was very funny. That's what I'm finding more fun about Yoga Hosers. I don't know it as well. When Tusk came out, when I sat there in the theater, I kept remarking to myself, I'm like, wow, this really is just the podcast set, to movie.
Right.
The story was the same. There was a couple differences, but for the most part, I was amazed how much it was like the podcast. This time, this script is just based on a vague reference and to another person who's just sort of a cameo character in this film, as far as I know, which is the yoga instructor guy.
Oh, yeah. Justin.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, they brought in the two girls in the main kind of crossover, but then they have Guy LaPointe in it as well.
Oh, yeah.
And so, it crosses over yet again when you get to Moose Jaws, which Kevin's talked about a little bit. So
now you guys did not.
Trilogy, so
you guys did not do the prosthetic on Johnny Depp in that first one.
No.
Okay.
Johnny has his own makeup guy.
Okay, yeah. But he still definitely made it look
Saul
like...
Harlow does that for him. Yeah.
Okay. Made it look like a dick.
He did it in Tusk as well.
Oh, he did?
Mm-hmm.
Is it as veiny?
Oh, they purposely have fun with that.
Yes,
so
yes.
You'll see.
Okay. Let's step back now in your career. I love Dusk Till Dawn. Can you talk to me about how that happened?
Well, that was a wonderful 10 years of my life on that one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. No, I came up with the story to I wanted to get a script that I could go out and use as a stepping stone as a director, something small I could do. So I came up with like a kind of an Assault on Precinct 13, Night of the Living Dead, but with vampires in a strip club idea,
Yes.
And
of course, which comes to everybody's head every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you always want to try to set some sort of a scene in a strip club just so you can go hang out all day there.
Focus on what you know.
I wrote the story, and then at that time we found me and John Esposito, who was originally going to write it. He was doing Stephen King's Graveyard Shift at the time, so we found another writer, and we had gotten recommendations to look at these scripts by this kid named Quentin Tarantino, and the writing samples they sent were Reservoir Dogs, True Romance, and Natural Born Killers.
And
this is prior to Reservoir getting off the ground or anything, way before that. And was like 88, 89, I think. Then basically I had it set up a couple places over the years, and I won't even go into detail who and what and where, but things didn't work out, fell through. Most of the studios passed on the script because it didn't follow a normal structure. It was movies in one, and which is what makes it unique. And
it's a genre mashup before there was such a thing.
And they, we got a lot of passes. Plus, it was really harsh and crude, and language was crazy. And even though at this point, by this time, we've already done Reservoir Dogs, and then 4 Rooms, and now we're into Pulp Fiction. And even with the success of Pulp Fiction, there was people looking at the script again, and various people trying to set it up in various ways. And one of the problems was I was attached as a director, and
that was a problem.
I hadn't done anything.
Okay.
Some second unit.
Okay. So
my first film. And
gotcha.
Years went by of trying to get this up and down off the ground, and eventually Robert Rodriguez mentioned that he had heard something about this script and wanted to see it, and then once he wanted to direct it, I just said, I'm not going to direct it. I'll just be a producer and do the effects and get my story credit, Can
I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Based on, let's say, your movie knowledge or your knowledge of making films at the time, and say you coupled it with today's technology, could you have done that film? Like without a lot of the hassles and...
Oh, you mean just totally raise it independently and do it?
Yeah. Based on, today's social media.
It was originally. It was done. I was just thinking of a quick road picture and then trap everybody in this environment and one gag after another. But
so yeah, I get that.
But
did you ever see that? Was it Demons? It's one of the Italian films
in the church. Yeah, it's a Dario Argento produced movie.
Or it's like you end up. It's in a theater. One of them. Like that's
actually it's Demons is not in a church. It is a theater.
Yeah, which I saw that in a theater. So that I'm like, wow, this is a great gag.
Yeah. It's like that movie Anguish. You ever see that?
I don't know that I saw that one.
Zelda Rubinstein.
No, that one I haven't seen.
You have to see it. It's actually kind of interesting.
Okay. Yeah. I'll add it to the list. Where were we? We're talking about the hassles of getting your movie made.
So anyway, eventually once Robert got involved, Miramax came involved, Quentin got back involved as a producer, everything just, and the movie, to me, I mean, it's the best thing that ever happened to that movie because it's now considered a classic,
Yeah.
It's a perennial and everybody loves it. And Robert brought a cool vision to it with the Aztec elements and everything. It was really cool. It just changed it up, and they put a great cast together. So.
I was going to say, I love your use of Cheech Marin.
Yeah.
He's
several times in the movie.
Yeah. What was who came up with that gag? Do you recall?
The speech?
Well, to have him in several times, several different characters.
That just happened by the time they were in production. They were just like, he's going to play him too and him too. It's like, yeah.
We like this. We like this guy. Yes, and essentially, it is a long setup for his punchline, isn't it?
For the speech?
For Cheech's, I told you it was supposed to be the other bar. I can't remember the exact line, but it was genius, and you deserve all the accolades, and you were 10 years ahead of your time, probably. That's why I find Kevin's movies like that. Tusk.
Yeah, they always find an audience later, but that's what's great about Tusk is it continually finds a new audience.
Oh, yeah. Tusk, I think, is going to beat that 10-year rule with Kevin, because now with Netflix and availability, an audience can see that movie so much faster than they could in the video era. I know millennials who already tell me they love it because it's so weird. I'm like, yay.
Well, yeah, exactly. People are like, and they come to the conventions, they see like something from Tusk, and they go, "That's that movie."
You also worked on Dune. I'm just a big Dune fan.
The miniseries.
Yes. Still, hey, it's Dune. It counts.
It's actually better than the film.
Well, it's more true to the book.
Yeah.
The book Dune actually reminds me in some respects of Dracula. because it's kind of told through that. It feels like it's a news story.
I'm trying to think. We did 3 of those initially, and then they did 3 more, which I don't think we didn't do the other 3.
Yeah, the other ones. That was sort of
3. Yeah,
children of. What did you guys actually do? Like design the
worms and the.
Okay.
We did like big back plates of the worms for the people to ride on that got comped into CG shots, and then we did like the mechanical worm when they wrestle them out of the.
How were you able to approach the design without going back to David Lynch's stuff?
Well, John Harrison, the director, was like very specific about certain things that he wanted to stray away from with that look.
Okay.
So, and what's the spice? Yeah, the little manta ray guy or tentacle,
Yeah.
We did that.
Okay. So. The Traveler, the guy who folds space.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, David Lynch's guy was sort of like this big amorphous, blobby guy. Yours had a little more form to it, more like an angel.
Right. It was kind of like the Abyss thing or something. I guess the approach was to try to do something not quite like that, but
What do you like doing more, designing on the back end or directing movies or?
Always directing first, but when I'm not doing that, the fallback is designing this other crap. So,
what's your favorite part of the process?
To be honest, shooting. It depends on the movie, though. Some movies are laborious, and then some movies are have a different kind of energy when you're on the set, and you kind of feel you're finding the movie while you're shooting, and it feels great, And then there's movies like The Hulk where you sit there and you shoot like one day out of 4 weeks, and that's the angle. Shit.
I'm sorry, Skype kind of breaks us up, but I just want to qualify that that's the Ang Lee Hulk, not the Incredible Hulk.
Yes, that's the Ang Lee Hulk.
Yeah. Wow, to hear that was monotonous, I find that hard to believe.
But you're on a movie. It's I don't even remember what that shoot. It was like 120-day shoot. I mean, that's sometimes the John dies at the end movie or the late phases or these smaller movies are more fun because you're there and there's a certain energy and you're working with the filmmaker and you're finding shots and you're doing cool stuff and it's just different.
That's what I was about to ask. What's been the most fun film you think you've worked on that you recall and you always look back on fondly?
Oh, it's always Army of Darkness or Evil 2.
That's so awesome.
So,
and it really shows too.
It's a different time too, and then Army of Darkness was a completely different experience, but in the same kind of vein.
Wouldn't make that movie today either.
No.
I mean, you just wouldn't. I mean, why? Everyone would go, why would you do it that way when you can do it this way?
Yeah, no, this is kind of a lot of those movies we made before the digital era. So people were cutting them on flatbeds and your movie became what it became because that's the amount of time you had to mess with it.
Yeah.
Now you can mess with it over and over and second guess yourself with a switch of a hit of a button. You can change it, and it's positive and negative at the same time.
Have you ever filmed any documentaries?
No, other than genre stuff, like
behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, DVD things and stuff like that.
Do you do any podcasting?
I'm doing it right now.
Other than this, have you been?
I've done a few, yeah.
You've been on some, but you yourself do not have a show.
No, I don't.
Oh, that would be amazing. The stuff you could deliver. I'm kind of a podcast pusher. Well, I very much appreciate you giving us this time.
Oh, thanks for having me. Is this live?
No, we're not live. We are recording.
So you're going to bleep out all my F-bombs, right?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Is that okay? Can I leave them in? Because usually we do. We have,
I'm an F-bomb dropper. So.
Well, so is Kevin. So if we can't pretty much be a Kevin show without allowing swearing. So don't worry about that fucking shit. You have no idea how much I appreciate this. Thank you so much.
Anytime, have me back. I'll come back on.
Oh, awesome.
After we have something else to talk about. Let me give a plug for Paranormal Penitentiary, my haunted attraction at the Ohio State Reformatory. This year, it's called Monster Lockdown.
Where is it?
It's at the Mansfield the Shawshank Prison Reformatory, Mansfield, Ohio. It's the historic Ohio State Reformatory. Looks like a castle, and we're decking it out, doing a haunted attraction there.
That's so awesome.
Starts September 23rd, right? Yeah.
That's great. That is so
all the way through October.
Wow. That's great. Do you have it like music and everything scored?
Oh, we have we set it up so we have like speaker areas, and each thing has different elements, sound effects. It's stuff that we mix here and put together. We do a lot of stuff with Midnight Syndicate. You know those guys?
I do know the name, yes.
Yeah. They're local guys, Ohio. They scored The Rage for me and Dead Matter and a couple other movies we've been involved with together.
If I'm not mistaken, they did like a D&D soundtrack.
They've done a bunch of those too.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, they do.
I just really showed my nerd there.
That's okay. Yeah, actually, I'm being pointed here. Go to creaturecore.net, corps.net. That's our website if you want to see anything or link up to the Paranormal Penitentiary site. creaturecore.net.
creaturecore.net. Cool. Again, thank you so much. And after, what is it? Are you working on Moose Jaws? Yes.
We haven't started that yet, but we are doing design stuff for it.
Oh, yes. We'll definitely have to have you back. That's great. Cool. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you so much. All right, everybody. Robert Kurtzman.
Bye.
And I think it was so cute the way he said bye at the end there. That was very cool. Mr. Robert Kurtzman again. Can you dig that? You hear me wrapping my head around what he announced at the end there. He's doing a haunted event, like a haunted hayride or whatever you want to call it, but more involved in that. Cool. But it's at Shawshank. It's at the place where they filmed the externals for Shawshank. I don't think they actually filmed.
So much fun.
They may, maybe they have. I don't know. Some film buff could correct me, but I believe they filmed just the exteriors. But for all I know, they could have filmed some interiors in there.
Doesn't that sound like so much fun?
I love Shawshank. It sounds like it'd be scary as shit, and I wouldn't enjoy it. If I knew like the back end maybe, and I was involved in helping put it together, it would be fun.
But not just being a visitor.
Yeah, I'm not like I don't like jump scares, and a lot of that relies on jump scares.
And I'm not either. I think it's the idea of it sounds really fun.
Yeah.
I'd be totally chicken shit.
Yeah, have some idiot coming at you with a chainsaw.
Oh my God.
It's just because that's what a lot of those things have.
Scary.
Those haunted hay rides and shit. And you don't know what he is. He's a fucking car, and he could be half out of his mind on gin.
Oh my God.
Give him a chainsaw.
Yeah.
Let him near your kids.
Yeah.
But I love Halloween. That's the truth.
Yeah, Halloween is fun.
I don't think we'll be up in Ohio, but if you're up in Ohio, man, definitely go and check that out.
Yeah.
That is a cool thing. What else is going on there, Haw Tank?
I'm still laughing over there. It's so funny.
Lady Hawk.
What else is going on?
Lady Hawk.
This week.
Did you enjoy the Lady Hawk talk?
I did.
I did too.
I did like that a lot.
Flashback to Lady Hawk.
And there's, any new Smodcast, I'm happy with.
My keyboard
I love
impression.
it. I love it so much. It's so funny.
Yes. I agree. Because then you get things like...
Scamby C. Scott. Police are responding to Blood Alley Square. Where's that?
Fuck. That sounds like Canadian Batman.
I know. There he is. It's ThatMan standing over Blood Alley Square, protecting us all.
That was so cool, right?
Yeah. Also, Miss Tesdy Groupie is taking a little vacation this week because she is spending some time with her mom who's in town. And we just want to say to her mom, thank you for making such a great lady. Have a good week off, and we'll see you next time. Until then, we've put in a little temporary, maybe this could be a running gag, a little bit in its place. Here we go. We hope you enjoy this. We have a new little part we're putting in, and that's inspirational quotes from Bane. Here they are.
There can be no true despair without hope. So, I will feed people hope to poison their souls.
It is a spiritual axiom that every time we are disturbed, no matter what the cause, there is something wrong with Us. If somebody hurts us, and we are sore, we are in the wrong also. But are there no exceptions to this rule? What about justifiable anger? If somebody cheats us, aren't we entitled to be mad? Can't we be properly angry with self-righteous folk? For us, these are dangerous exceptions. We have found that justified anger ought to be left to those better qualified to handle it.
Then you have my permission to die.
And there you go. That's our first edition of inspirational quotes from Bane. We hope you enjoy them.
Mm-hmm.
We hope that you have found some solace and comfort in them. I don't know what that was, but I decided to make a rhythm. Now I'm being inspired by the boys over at, what's the name of that show? I can't think of it right now because my brain is not working properly. It's the Flophouse. Yes, on the Flophouse.
Oh.
A guy always sings a stupid song that he makes up on the spot. Yes. So, speaking of the Flophouse, that's a good transition, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Because we're going to, if you're in the New York City area, and is it next week already?
It's next week. Uh-huh.
Wow.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
There is the New York City Podfest. A big shout out to Jeremy Ween, who's been wrestling alligators and everything else to put this together.
He's been all sorts of things. And
we want to send a shout out to a few of our friends and friends of the film, some of which we'll be filming, some of which we won't. Like Risk, we won't be filming, but we certainly want to send them a big, huge break a leg and shout out for their set.
We will be filming Guys We Fucked.
Yes, we will.
Which is Friday night.
And that's live on stage. Doesn't that sound dirty? We'll be filming the Guys We Fucked.
It's live.
Wow. That's a lot of guys. Anyway, can we fit them in the Bell House?
Oh, maybe.
I'm kidding. Yeah, okay. So
and
now I
the
feel
next
much better.
day, it will be Where's Larry?
Yes, big shout out to Where's Larry.
And
this is at the Cake House. They go from the Bell House,
the Bell House, and
to the Cake House.
And,
that's kind of funny. Couple of houses.
And also Keith and the Girl.
Yes, the Flop House, Keith and the Girl. Where's Larry? Although not necessarily in this order.
Not in this order, no.
Yeah. Congratulations to all those folks, and we'll be filming them too.
You know. So
and
come on
again,
down.
big hats off to Jeremy Ween.
Yes.
You know, I know he's running ragged. We kind of chatted the other day. He's got other problems on his mind too. And,
I know. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. So.
But I'm sure it'll be great like last year.
Yes. After it's all over, he can have his nervous breakdown and have a drink, and all will be well.
Yep.
And he was funny on Keith and the Girl.
He did a good job.
Yeah, they had a good show.
Yeah.
I forget who the comedian was, but
Keith and the Girl.
Yeah, we love
Check them out too. They're awesome.
Yeah, they have a great show. They're
great.
Yeah, we get
they
a
do a
kick
great
out of them
job.
big time. We're sucking their dicks over
yes.
here. Oh, you so dirty girl.
This is terrible. This is the worst of the worst conditions in the world.
So
Oh, the humanity.
Oh, humanity.
This is what you do.
What you do.
And number two, while it is true that the Netanyahu is in my view, just repeating it doesn't make it true.
God, I've been sitting on that one forever, and that's the first time I actually got that out.
That gets you feeling the burn, right?
Yeah, well, let's get that one more.
This is what you do. What you do.
All right.
Number two, while it is true that the Netanyahu is in my view, just repeating it doesn't make it true.
Oh, Bernie, we love you.
It's all so nasty.
Lots of coming and going.
Oh, my God. It's all over your face, neck, and chest. This is going to be the most abridged goodbye we've done in a long time because we got to get the flock out of here. We hope you've enjoyed this time together. We hope that you know who the fuck cares. No. See what I did there? I changed it up.
I know.
No. You're smart and good, folks. Everybody needs to hear it every now and then, especially when someone drags your dick in the dirt.
Yes.
Till next week. Check you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye-byes. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.
This is what you do. What
Bye-bye.
you do. And number two, while it is true that the Netanyahu is in my view, just repeating it doesn't make it true.
This is a song called Ohio. Lying if I said, well, it's no big deal. It doesn't mean a thing to me. My only hope is to convince myself of my own lies, and I really hope it gets better with time. Our hearts broke in Ohio, and West Virginia and all of her lovers. Well, I don't believe in Ohio when she sings softly to me. It seems a sad destiny, a Midwestern girl's dream, but they're all happy in their own way. Only hope is to look into the wishing well. And man, I just sit there and I just wonder, and I'm just like, man. Our hearts broke in Ohio, and West Virginia with all of her lovers. Well, I don't believe in Ohio, and she sings softly to me.
Bonjour.
You're the legendary manhunter from Quebec.
Yes, I am that man.
Go get him, that man.
Hey, everybody. I hate to interrupt, but I want to take a moment to talk to you about Patreon. What is Patreon? Patreon is a startup type service. This one caters to ongoing projects. It is for the video bloggers, the podcasters, the bloggers who regularly provide content to an audience out there. And if the audience chooses to, they can support their the shows they listen to that are members of Patreon. ThatMan on Fatman is on Patreon. And if you would like to help us to offset the costs that we incur on this show, it also helps expand our abilities. For instance, SoundCloud, as a result of folks helping us out on Patreon. You are helping to grow the show, and for that, we try and provide our Patreon listeners with special bonuses, special shows in advance that they can hear prior, just special videos, things like that. We try. It's more ad hoc. It's more seat of the pants, but I think the listeners out there are happy with them. No one's complained yet. We're not talking a lot of money here. We're talking like $2 a month, $4 a month. And where can you find us? Very simple. Go to patreon.com. That's patreon.com/ThatMan on Fatman. Or you can go to ThatManOnFatman.com and click on the link on the right side of the screen that says Become a Patron on Patreon.